everybody. Karen Roby here for Tech Republic and ZDNet. Happy today to be joined by Lori Craner. She is the Director of Scilab Security and Privacy Institute at Carnegie Mellon University, also professor there. Lori, you are very busy. Thanks for making time for us here today.
Thank you.
So this is, of course, in October, National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And I think it's great that, each year this is gaining more and more traction as more and more people are starting, I think, to understand the importance of cybersecurity and attempting to even understand how to keep themselves or their company safe. One of the big things that you've done a lot of research on, working on right now, IoT privacy labels. Let's just start with, what they are and how you think this is going to help folks.
Sure. So one of the things we've observed is that there's a lot of concerns about the security and privacy of IoT devices, and you hear about it on the news. And then if you go into the store and pick up one of these devices and look at the box, there's no information about security or privacy. And even if you shop online, you can compare all sorts of features, but there's really nothing about security and privacy. And so we thought, well, what if these boxes of IoT devices had labels like the food nutrition label on a can of beans that would tell you about the security and privacy kind of nutrition of these items. And so we went about trying to design one. We did some consumer studies. Consumers thought this was a great idea, but they didn't know what they didn't know. So they didn't know what information should be on these labels. So then we did an expert study. We got lots of great info from experts, and we designed our label. And the way it works, it's a 2-layer label. So on the packaging or on the website is just the most important information. And then there's a QR code and a link that you can click on to go get all the gory details if you're an expert, or if you like to see all that detail.
And I think that what you just said really hits on something that it really resonated with me. People don't even know what they don't know. They have no idea what should be important when they're buying these devices that they're putting all over their houses, but they have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why we figured, we're going to highlight what are some of the important things. And some of the most important things are what kind of access control does it have? Like, can anybody just start, come by with their phone and start programming your devices? Or can you set a password to lock people out who aren't part of your family? So that's important. We also looked at what information do they collect, and are they, uploading it to the internet? Are they sharing it with other companies? Are they going to target ads to you based on the information that your light bulb observes? So that people. And then on the security side, it's also important as to whether it gets security updates. If they find a vulnerability, is your device going to get hacked, or will you automatically get the latest security update installed?
And when you talk about the manufacturers, or on the other side of this, what is their reaction like? What is their, I know obviously you haven't polled every company that makes the devices, but where do they stand on this?
Yeah, so we've been trying to get the word out, and we're starting to get some interest from manufacturers. So far, this is still just a prototype, and it's not out there. So if anybody from a company is listening and they like to get in touch with us, we'd love to get it out there and actually do some piloting.
So, when we talk about, again, with these IoT devices, Lori, and people are just gobbling them up and using them, again, all over their home and their business, and so much information is being transferred and between people and things that are said, and what's going on inside of what should be a private home or a business. Uh, do you think people though really have any idea with IoT devices, just in general, the power that they have as far as just being vulnerable and open?
Yeah, I think most people don't really think about it. They buy these devices because they're convenient and cool and fun. and oh, look, I can like press a button and make my lights purple. And I don't think they put a lot of thought into the security or privacy issues. There are other people though who I talk to who say, oh yeah, I would never buy these things because I have no idea what's going to happen and they just scare me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely hear a lot of that too on the other side. What about it? It is your all's goal to make this when an industry standard one day. Is that what you're looking towards?
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that it would become some sort of an industry standard so that you would be able to, you know, look at the package of similar devices and put them side by side and actually make that comparison because the information is in the same format on all the packages.
Yeah, definitely that would make it more friendly. I mean, you can compare a box of pasta, two different brands, you know exactly what you're trying to look for if it's calories or whatever. But again, you put two different devices when you're standing at Best Buy and you have no idea.
Yeah, it's really hard to do. We actually also have a prototype of a little app that our students put together where you can, kind of take your phone, scan those devices at Best Buy, and it will tell you what's the difference between them in security and privacy. And
Yeah.
we're like, that would be really convenient. Or, the search engine, when you do a search on Amazon or whatever, that it should be you could rank them based on security or privacy and things like that.
I think that would be great. I mean, certainly when it comes to specifics that you're looking for, those should be the things that we should be really concerned about. Well, Lori, before we let you go here again, and being National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and the work that you guys do and the research is so much, such important stuff, revolved around keeping people safe and their data and security from every standpoint. Talk a little bit about one of the other ways that so many people, accounts are breached, passwords, and we've been talking about passwords forever, and it still never ceases to amaze me that some people will have, password 123 or those kind of things. So have we progressed at all, do you think, from that, or are we still stuck in this mode of, well, my employees still aren't using strong passwords, so there we go, we're getting breached again?
Yeah, no, we still have a big problem with passwords. I think over time, people are learning that, they need to have digits in their passwords and things like that. But they're still not being all that smart about it. We're still seeing people who say, well, I have to have a digit, so I'll put a 1 on the end, which doesn't really make your password strong. And it's really hard for people because they're being asked to come up with so many different passwords. And the right thing to do is to make them all unique, but it's hard for people to keep track of them. And so, the advice that I give people is use a password manager. That way you can have your password manager come up with random passwords for you, remember them all for you, and then you don't have to remember them, and it will store your passwords securely.
Yeah, that's been I mean, just personally, for a huge help for me because I was constantly forgetting them and having to go back and reset them. And it's, it definitely takes the load off, and they can be really strong passwords as well. What about, like two-factor authentication? I mean, where do you see that we are as far as, authentication is concerned?
Yeah, I think two-factor authentication is also great. And it's an extra layer. So even if your password does get breached, if you have two-factor authentication, you're going to be much less likely to have a problem because the attacker will have to get through both layers. So when you have the opportunity to sign up for two-factor authentication for an account, it's a good idea to do it.
Yeah, most definitely. All right. Well, Lori Craner, I appreciate you being here with me today. When it comes to cybersecurity, of course, I mean, you could talk about it, I'm sure, for days. And the amount of research you guys are doing is really phenomenal. If you had to say, 5 years down the road, looking ahead, when it comes to cybersecurity, what are you hoping for? Do you hope everyone's just more aware, that we have more people going into the cybersecurity field? What are you hoping for the future when it comes to this?
So I think the cybersecurity field is a great field, and I'd like to see more people go into it, more diverse people go into it. And I also hope that we are able to develop tools that are inherently secure and easy to use so that the end user doesn't have to be a security expert in order to be safe.
That would be great. And certainly, the demand is there, Lori, too. I'm hoping that a lot of younger people, whether they're in high school and involved in STEM or whatever, that they'll start to see, what a great field it is, and the demand for these jobs, it's there for sure.
Definitely.
All right. Well, Lori, I appreciate you being here with us today. Very informative information. And for those we're going to link below, but you do have a great website for people wanting more information on those IoT privacy labels. Where do they go to for that?
Yeah, so they can check out iotsecurityprivacy.org, and that has all the information about the labels.
Excellent. All right. And again, we will link it there below. Lori, thank you so much for being with us. Everyone, thanks so much for watching.